Right now, the largest tech companies on the planet are pouring hundreds of billions of dollars into a massive hyperscale industrial construction race. Take Microsoft. In an earnings call this past April, the company committed to a $190 billion capital expenditure budget for this calendar year alone. Yet despite that massive war chest, CEO Satya Nadella told investors the company remains capacity constrained. It is a staggering paradox. The most valuable software company in history has $190 billion to spend, but it physically cannot buy enough raw infrastructure to meet its own demand. This disconnect proves that our assumptions about digital growth have hit a wall. In the AI era, the traditional idea of software as an infinitely scalable, weightless resource is dead. For over a decade, we've been sold a delusion that the cloud is an effortless, weightless environment where compute power is always available on tap. We assume that if we sign a contract for more AI capacity, the vendor can simply flip a switch and scale our usage instantly. The reality is much heavier. AI is a physically manufactured good. Every sentence generated by a model is the output of a high-intensity factory line, constrained by the laws of physics and the availability of raw materials. If you keep writing AI contracts as if they were standard software agreements, your operations will crash the moment the physical supply chain reaches its limit. Most people looking for a culprit assume the bottleneck is a simple shortage of GPUs. We've been told the industry is held back by the speed of chip design or our ability to print logic processors. But those aren't the primary choke points. This chart shows the real scale of the problem. The world's top 4 AI chip designers consume only 12% of global advanced logic die production. Obsessing over the processor gives leaders a false sense of security. The chip itself is just one part of a much more fragile system. To see the real constraint, you have to look at the microscopic level, the point where the compute engine actually touches its memory. The industry is actually being choked by a lack of high-bandwidth memory and the advanced physical packaging needed to bond that memory to the processor. While these companies need a fraction of chip design capacity, they devour 90% of the global memory and packaging supply. Because copper wires hit a thermal limit at this scale, data must move through advanced optics. If these fail, the system sits idle. An AI brain is effectively useless if its physical packaging and optical nervous system can't move data fast enough to serve a single token. Beyond the chips themselves, we have to look at the massive macro-level footprint required to keep these clusters alive. These dense racks generate intense heat standard data centers can't handle. They require firm grid power and intensive liquid cooling systems to avoid immediate meltdown. This creates a brutal construction timeline. While software can be updated in weeks, building these power-hungry campuses can take up to 4 years, far longer than most corporate planning cycles. Every digital word an AI generates is directly constrained by the availability of local real estate, poured concrete, and the local electrical grid. We are no longer in the era of elastic compute. In this new world, depreciation clocks on hardware run 24/7, and every second of idle time is a massive financial loss. This supply chain funnel shows the new conflict. When you buy AI today, your vendor is actually competing with their own cloud providers for a share of that same narrow factory output. You have to stop thinking about licensing software and start thinking like a factory manager securing a share of a production line. To protect your operations, you need a new checklist for every AI investment review. Question 1. What percentage of your contract is reserved capacity versus best effort allocation? You need a concrete plan for when your provider becomes supply constrained. Question 2. Does the vendor have a routing plan to send simple tasks to smaller, cheaper models? In a factory, you don't use your most expensive machine to do a job a simple tool can handle. Question 3. Audit the yield of the intelligence. Challenge vendors to show where hidden human supervision is masking product failures in their demos. If it takes human glue to keep the demo running, it isn't an automated factory. It's a manual process that won't scale. The cloud is gone. The factory is here. Thinking like an industrial operator is the only way to safeguard your company's future in the intelligence economy.